Okay, hello everyone. I am excited to have a conversation with my camera today, and I am excited for you all to listen to this conversation that I am having. First thing first, I'm sorry that I'm against a white wall, but I feel like I'm always against a white wall, so why am I apologizing this time when I usually don't? And I feel like this is up close. Like, you guys feel like this is up close to me? Like, let me sit back a little bit. Okay. So I was having a conversation with my bestie, and we were really just talking about John Green books. Let me just say I didn't like Paper Towns, the book or the movie. I didn't. And my two favorite books about from John Green actually are I Know Basic, But the Fault in Our Stars, and Looking for Alaska. Those are the books that I was reading by him in high school, and both of those books were absolutely life changing. And something that her and I were talking about was the fact that John Green gave us Manny Pixie Dream Girl in such a palatable way, in such a way that actually was something that I desired to achieve. Just this idea of this girl who is so I don't even want to I don't know. There's something I have to someone please be in the comments, and I want us to do a comparison between Alaska and Hazel Grace. I want us to compare the two and really deep dive into how they were so similar, cuz I'm just like Hazel Grace and Alaska both really never had their own identities, or like they all just gave me the figments of imagination of like from the boys that were pursuing them. I don't even remember the guy's name from the Looking for Alaska book. I literally just know Alaska. Yeah, cause and then I was like conspiracy theory, and tell me if this is already on Tumblr, you all, cause if it is, just let me know. I was just like, what if this whole time Hazel Grace didn't really exist, and that she was just Augustus Waters' way of being remembered after death? Because I'm not convinced that Augustus Waters didn't already have cancer when he walked into the Heart of God therapy sessions. I'm just not convinced anymore. But fast forward, I was just also talking to my bestie about how like I feel like white women are allowed um to just kind of passively endure life. It's always just like, and I feel like this is the difference between books written by white women about white women versus books written by whoever about black women. Black women actively participate and fight against whatever struggles there are for us, whether that be a struggle about race, gender, you name it, any of the other intersectional identities that we may have, being queer, da 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 da. We actively fight against those. Whereas with white women in their stories, things just occur to them. Because again, even with Bella from Twilight, what was Bella's issue? First and first, there was actually no issue with Bella. So it's just, and that's the thing, there's never any really issue. But I guess in terms of just me looking at it from the lens of both of these characters, all of these characters I'm talking about are female. That's something female, and they identify as female. Like they literally identify as female. I think it's just the fact that like Bella, Hazel Grace, Alaska, any other white woman character ever is just passively, and no, not ever, white women who are allowed to be in love, white girls who are allowed to experience love stories, they just passively go through life. No one is being like, oh, you have to fight off these demons. Like, you don't have to do anything. You just live and you let things occur to you, and you benefit from the things that occur to you. Or you may learn something, or you realize you don't like something. You know what I'm saying? Because even with Hazel Grace, she had cancer, but she was never actively fighting against cancer. She didn't have no social justice movement, or like she wasn't an advocate for ending cancer. It was none of that. She was just a person with cancer who was being loved on by Augustus Waters. And I'm like, that is so powerful. And as a creator, I want to give Black youth the same, Black youth and Black adults, the same level of peace and calm. I just want to, and I was telling a couple people this today, I was just like, I genuinely just want to be a Black woman, young woman, who passively goes through life at this point. Like, I want to try it for a couple years and just see, because I feel like I've seen Black women actively fight against something, and that does not have to be like a physical fighting, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like actually using hands, fists, or anything like that. I'm talking about just actively going out of their way to showcase why a certain behavior or a certain way of treating people is bad. And I feel like this is such an unpopular take, because some people are like, so what are you gonna do, just sit around? No, my Blackness and my Blackness, my female identity, I carry them everywhere with me, and that is intersectionality itself. The fact that I'm a Black woman at the same time is always going to be there. So I don't have to explicitly say anything. I don't have to explicitly write in any of my characters that they are struggling with this and that they're gonna fight against it, because we all know that, you know, everybody knows that. It's literally what you first think of when you're thinking of a Black woman. You're like, oh dang, she's Black and she's a woman. Like, we know that already. So I just don't feel the need to write that in or state it or work against it in that way. I feel like there's so many barriers to be broken by just existence, and that's how a lot of barriers have been broken, is people who were seen as other existing in spaces for normal people. And I think there's power in that. Yeah, me and my bestie, we were also just talking about, like, there's different ways of resistance. A lot of the times we forget that it was a form of resistance to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, during slavery, you were resisting by living. You were, because there were so many opportunities just to break down and just be like, I can't. And that's resistance to wake up every day and keep going. You don't have to have a rebellion. I appreciate those who did rebel. I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're having respect for all types of resistance, but we're finally acknowledging that resistance also is just existence. Resistance is existence. It's the existence of the other. It's the not allowing the other to ever disappear, because that would give in to this idea that the other was not worthy, that the other was in fact other, when reality is we're all just human beings who have to eventually learn how to coexist, whether we want to or not. So yeah, I literally just think back to the reasons. I remember my mom used to like really want me to read Black female teenage characters, and I just was looking at them and I was like, I just can't relate to these stories. I can't relate to these stories of actively going out of my way to end something, to end some type of struggle. And I'm not saying that doing so is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, let's acknowledge how exhausting that is, that narrative that Black girls are born activists, because we're not. Or even the story that to be an activist, you have to constantly just be out there loud and proud about what you're advocating against. It's just so exhausting. And also, I've been battling this idea in my head of, you know, the idea of womanhood, and how a lot of times I had made a video and I took it down off YouTube, because I do this. I do this. I make videos. I take it down depending on if I really agree with myself or not a year or so later. And I was just thinking, I was just like, in that video, I basically had stated, you know, as a Black woman, as a young Black woman, I grew up watching Black women center Black men and Black male oppression at the center of their own oppression, you know, as us as Black women. It's just like, and I'm, now that I'm older, it's been like 4 months, guys. Now that I've said on that and I really thought about what I was trying to say, I just feel like a lot of womanhood is centered around how well you can nurture and care for a man. And that literally goes across ethnicities, because even in the books about white women, it was about that too, because this is us looking at women through the male gaze. This is us looking at women as men have wrote women in, which is usually in some way to take care of men. And that is what makes the Manic Pixie Dream Girl one absolutely fascinating, and there's tons of videos that you can watch on that, the character trope. And then also incredibly sad, because we never really related to any of those women. I never related to any of the Manic Pixie Dream Girls that I grew up watching, but I desired to almost in a sense be them, because here they were being desirable to men without me acknowledging that I have to be desirable to self. I have to desire Darier and Darier completely before, not even before anything, but to really gain just a strong sense of self-love, and to really experience the wave of happiness that comes with being satisfied and content with self. Yeah. Whew. This was a good conversation. I enjoyed talking to myself in this one. This one was good. Yeah, I hope you guys took some words from this, and I hope you like thoroughly enjoyed listening to this one. I'm back on YouTube, guys. It's taking me a while because I feel like my content is shifting. And I feel like I talk about this in every video now. I just feel like my content is shifting, and I'm becoming different. I'm becoming Darier by the day, and it's a long process of just becoming Darier and edging into her, easing into this woman, and it's taking me life experiences to figure out which way I want to go. I'm gonna try to be that creator. Not try. I am going to be that creator who's honest about her failures and her mistakes as well as her successes. And I'm so excited for the continuous journey. I've never enjoyed a journey like this as much as I'm enjoying easing into me. Just easing into me, sliding, gliding, just easing into me, because it's just such a blissful experience. And I hope everyone has the opportunity to blissfully just enjoy themselves and to not limit yourself in any type of way. Surround yourselves with people who also do not limit themselves. Motivate, but only motivate people who motivate you back. Motivate people who can be motivated, because that's where your inspiration will ultimately come from as well. Yeah, I mean, literally, that is just it. I'm just so excited, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this conversation, and I hope to upload again soon. Lots of kisses. Bye.